Hi, I'm Paul, your helpful locksmith. In this video, we're going to be showing you how to remove, measure and change a Euro cylinder.
If your existing cylinder protrudes by 4 or more millimeters, it's worth just taking a pencil and marking the cylinder at where the desired finishing point for your new cylinder would be. This makes it easy to measure later on. Then, if we take your screwdriver and remove the retaining screw, which will be in line with the bottom of the cylinder from the mechanism, and that's the one screw that's holding the cylinder in place.
A standard cylinder, and you can see when the key's not in the door, the cam which is at the centre of the door, that's the bit that's manipulated by the key, and when it gets up here it manipulates the door's mechanism to lock and unlock the door. But when the key's not in the door, you can see how the cam just sits just outside of the middle of the cylinder, and that on its own will stop the cylinder from coming out of your door. Depending which way the cylinder's been fit, it could be on this side, or if it's the other way around it can be on the other side. Of course you won't know this, which side it's on, until you remove the cylinder. But all we do is we pop our key in. Once we've removed the screw, so we pop the key in and we're just going to turn each way and just test. And we know if we turn the wrong way, the cylinder's still not going to come because the cam is now even more into the mechanism. So we're going to turn it the other way, and now it has lined up, and that cylinder will then slide out. If you've got a thumb turn, same idea, but the difference with the thumb turn is, as I mentioned before, it manipulates the mechanism at the top. So it could be that when you've unlocked your door to change the lock, when you've unlocked it, you'll go and click the mechanism and let go of the thumb turn and left the cam way off where it would be if you'd used the key. So again, same idea in principle. We need this cam to come right to the very bottom so it lines up with the cylinder so it will slide out. So all we're going to do is we're just going to keep gently turning it until it reaches the bottom, applying pressure from the other side of the door as you go. As soon as you get that little bit of movement, you know that you've kind of lined up and you can slide the lock out. If you turn the thumb turn and it seems to go no further, it probably means it started about here and you've turned it and it's re-hit the mechanism, and then it won't go any further. So you know you've gone as far as it will go, so you need to come back the other way until it comes down to the bottom, and then you can slide the cylinder out.
So now I'm going to place the key in, and I've just turned it to between 11 o'clock and 1 o'clock, applying some pressure from the external side of the door, and out it comes. Same again with the thumb turn, just moving that thumb turn around till it finds that sweet spot.
So the measuring the cylinder is really quite straightforward. It's measured in millimeters, and you measure from each side, from the centre hole on the screw where we took the screw out to the edge of the cylinder. And as you can see, on a standard cylinder that's fit the door correctly, we can just place that measurement. If you don't have a ruler or a tape measure, you can email us at hello@helplots.com and ask for this PDF lock measurer. We can send this, you print the PDF file off, and it'll be the measure that you can see behind me. It's to scale, and you just line up your cylinder hole or the screw hole with the hole on the image on our image there, and then you can see the measure either side of the screw. And as I say, it's to scale, so it's nice and easy. If we look at the one where it wasn't the right size, you can see again on the image there, you can measure the side that was correct, as the cylinder is, and you can see the pencil mark that we made on there, on the other side that was too long for us, and on there you can see that you measure up to that pencil line and not the edge of the cylinder, and that will help you get the correct size cylinder when you replace it. Again, with the thumb turn, we're measuring the cylinder. Remember, you don't include the actual thumb turn part. You're measuring, as you can see where I'm pointing to here, you're measuring up to where we're pointing.
So we're using a thumb turn here, but it's the same process with the key, just lining up that cam again so the lock slides straight in, nice and easy because we can see what we're doing this time. We can check that the cam is in the right place and is operating the door, and then we can put back the retaining screw to hold that cylinder in place.
So finally, just a couple of quick hints and tips. Firstly, I would always recommend, where possible and where the screw is in decent condition, that you use the screw from your old cylinder and reuse that when you fit the new cylinder. That's because screws tend to come in different sizes with different brands, and if the screw is too short, it's not going to hold your cylinder correctly, and if it's too long, on some door mechanisms, it can go through your cylinder hole, straight into the mechanism, and actually break your door's mechanism, which in a short space of time ends up becoming an expensive repair. The other thing with that in mind is tip number 2, which is always use, even if you have a drill for screwing and unscrewing, always use a handheld screwdriver. That's so you can feel, as soon as there's any tension that you don't want to be there, you know that you can stop screwing. Whereas with a drill, if you've drilled or screwed through the cylinder and held that in place and continued and then hit your mechanism, with a drill you're just going to keep going and break your door. Whereas with a handheld screwdriver, you'll feel as soon as the screw hits something, then you'll kind of know that something's maybe not right, and you can just take the screw out and put a different one in. That is if you have changed the screw. So I hope you found this video useful. It's, as you can see, it's not terribly difficult to change a cylinder. There are a couple of little things to look out for and issues to avoid, and traps that you can fall into, but generally it's fairly straightforward. As I mentioned earlier in the video, if you would like the PDF cylinder measuring image sent to you, if you drop us an email at hello@helpbox.com and just request that measuring tool, and we'll send that by PDF for you. All you need to do then is print it off and place your cylinder on top of that image, lining up the screw hole with the screw hole in the image, and you will get an accurate measure for your new cylinder.